Hello and welcome to Althea Suite. Today we're going to take a look at our service call settings. So on the left-hand side here, I will come down to my settings module and then select service call settings. Now this first section here, scheduling, this is just simply going to dictate how we'd like to schedule our service calls. First option is to use the calendar to schedule service calls. Second, manually specify visit schedules. Third, add service calls to daily queue for our technicians. Now, below that, we have auto create trip. This will just similarly to our delivery module, allow us to schedule services for the same date and the same service technician, and then auto create a trip out of those scheduled services. Below that, we have the option to default to either trucks or employees while scheduling, these two settings here. This is going to determine whether when we are looking at that calendar view to schedule our service, we would like it to show a column for each truck, or we'd like to see a column for each of our employees, in this case, our service technicians. Next here, we have default service call duration. That just means if we'd like to select a defaulted or predefined length for each of our service calls. So if we wanted them all to populate for 1 hour, we could set that up, though it will still allow us to modify or adjust that. Then here we have the setting that will enable us to create multiple invoices from one service. So if for whatever reason we need to have more than one invoice created from a specific service, we can do that. Next, close service when invoiced, just meaning if we'd like the service to automatically change to a closed status when an invoice has been created. And the last one in this top section here is the customer signature required on complete service, just meaning do we need a customer signature in order to mark a service as complete. Now, moving into our deposit settings here. So the first one, very straightforward, whether or not we'd like to enable deposits in service calls. So if we'd like to take a deposit, we're going to want this checked on. Now, we can below that say that we'd always like to collect a deposit. That just means that every time we create a service, we will be collecting at least some sort of deposit. The default service call deposit here, we'll just put in what our default deposit amount will be. I have here $99. It could simply be $10, but we could select the amount we want it to auto generate for. We can, again, still adjust this at the time of service. Now, our last section here, serviceable item. This is just where if we are creating an item at the time of the service call, creating the item we're servicing, which category we want that service to be assigned to, that service item. So here I could either create a new category called something like serviced items, or I could select from my previously defined categories here. Thank you so much for watching, and we appreciate your interest in Althea Suite.